Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Have you ever looked at a Jefferson nickel and wondered whether that ordinary-looking 5-cent coin could actually be worth a fortune? What if the coin sitting in your pocket, an old collection, a coin jar, or even a box of inherited change happened to be a Jefferson nickel? Today we are taking a very close look at the fascinating coins. Coin number 1. This 1974 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark, especially an example described as being in green condition and carrying a claimed market value of $76. Before you rush to your collection and start celebrating, there is an important story behind this coin, because the real value of a 1974 with D Jefferson nickel depends heavily on its grade, strike quality, preservation, errors, varieties, and authentication. The 1974 with D Jefferson nickel was produced at the Denver Mint, and official numismatic references report a substantial mintage of approximately 373,000 pieces. The coin has a face value of 5 cents and is made from the standard copper-nickel composition used for Jefferson nickels of this period, approximately 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs about 5 grams and measures approximately 21.2 millimeters in diameter. That large mintage is one of the first reasons collectors should be careful when they hear extremely high valuations for an ordinary 1974 with D nickel. A large number of these coins were produced, and circulated examples are generally not rare. NGC's current information indicates that circulated 1974 with D Jefferson nickels can be worth only around face value, while exceptionally preserved examples can bring considerably more. But coin collecting is full of exceptions, and this is where the story becomes interesting. A coin can be common in ordinary condition, but becomes scarce when it reaches an unusually high grade. This is especially true for Jefferson nickels because collectors pay close attention to the preservation of the coin and, on certain examples, the sharpness of the steps on Monticello. Coins with exceptionally strong, uninterrupted step detail are described as full steps, or FS. PCGS notes that 1974 with D Jefferson nickels with complete full steps are scarce in high grades, with examples at MS67 FS or higher being particularly difficult to locate. The obverse of the 1974 with D Jefferson nickel features the famous portrait of Thomas Jefferson, facing left. Around the portrait are the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, L1974. The Denver Mint mark, represented by the letter D, identifies the coin as having been struck at the Denver Mint. The design was created by Felix Schlag, whose Jefferson nickel design became one of the most recognizable American coin designs of the 20th century. Flip the coin over and you will see Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate, prominently displayed in the center. Below the building is the denomination 5 cents, while the surrounding inscriptions include United States of America and E pluribus unum. The reverse is particularly important to Jefferson nickel collectors because the steps beneath Monticello can reveal the quality of the strike. If you're examining a 1974 with D nickel that you believe could be valuable, do not simply look at the date and mint mark. Turn the coin over and examine the steps carefully. Are the individual steps sharply separated? Are there interruptions, scratches, hits, or weakness? Does the building have strong architectural detail? Does the coin have clean surfaces and attractive original luster? These questions can be far more important than simply seeing the letter D. One of the biggest mistakes new collectors make is assuming that an old coin automatically equals a rare coin. The 1974 with D nickel is more than 50 years old now, but age alone does not make it rare. More than 277 million were produced at Denver, and the coin is still encountered by collectors. Imagine finding a 1974 with D nickel in a group of ordinary coins. At first glance, it looks normal. You check the date. You see 1974, you flip it over and confirm the D mint mark. Nothing seems extraordinary. Then you examine the steps of Monticello under magnification and notice that they are unusually sharp. You inspect the surfaces and discover almost no contact marks. The luster remains bright. Jefferson's cheek is clean. The fields are attractive. Suddenly, this isn't just another 5-cent coin. It may be a candidate for professional grading. Next coin number 2. The 1970 Jefferson Nickel is an especially interesting coin because the absence or presence of a mint mark is extremely important for this date. In fact, before assigning a huge value to a 1970 nickel without a mint mark, collectors need to understand something very important. There was no regular Philadelphia business strike Jefferson nickel produced in 1970. In fact, a normal 1970 circulation strike without a mint mark should be treated with suspicion because Philadelphia did not produce regular business strike nickels that year. One current numismatic reference explains that a circulated 1970 nickel without a mint mark is likely to have had its mint mark removed or otherwise damaged, while the famous legitimate no-mint mark possibility for 1970 is the 1970 with No-S Proof error. And this is where today's coin becomes fascinating. Imagine finding a 1970 Jefferson nickel. You turn it over and examine Monticello. Then you turn it back to the obverse and look underneath the date. You expect to see a D or an S, but there is nothing there. At first, you might think you have discovered an incredibly rare Philadelphia nickel. But before getting excited, you need to understand the history of the 1970 Jefferson nickel. By 1970 mint marks had been moved to the obverse side of the Jefferson nickel. The mint mark appears to the right of Jefferson's portrait, underneath the date area. That location is extremely important when examining a supposedly no mint mark 1970 nickel. If you have a 1970 nickel in your hands right now, take a moment and look carefully at that location. The phrase brown condition is not itself a standard professional grade for a Jefferson nickel. Professional grading services use numerical grades such as VF, XF, AU, and MS, along with additional designations when appropriate. Brown coloration can describe the coin's appearance or toning, but it does not establish a specific market value. The 1970 with D issue is even more common in terms of mintage, with more than 515 million pieces struck. Current published information describes ordinary circulated examples as generally being worth face value, while high-grade examples can bring substantially more. The reported auction record for a 1970 with D Jefferson nickel is $719 for an MS67 example. These numbers are extremely useful because they give us a realistic baseline. A proof coin is made specifically for collectors and normally has highly reflective fields and sharply defined design elements. Proof coins can look very different from ordinary circulation strikes. The 1970 with S Jefferson nickel was produced in proof format, and the famous 1970S No-S Jefferson nickel is an important error variety. That is one of the reasons collectors should never automatically assume that every no-mint mark 1970 nickel is a Philadelphia business strike. Instead, you need to determine whether the coin could be a genuine proof error. And that is where things get very interesting. The No-S designation means that a coin that normally should carry an S mint mark was struck without it. Genuine No-S proof coins are among the most fascinating minting errors because the missing mint mark occurred during production rather than because somebody removed it afterward. But proving that difference is extremely important. If the mint mark was absent when the coin was struck, that can be a genuine mint error. If the mint mark was removed after the coin entered circulation, it is simply an altered coin. Those two coins may look superficially similar, but their numismatic significance is completely different. A professional grader or error specialist can provide a much more reliable opinion. Now let's talk about the brown color. Brown toning can occur for a variety of reasons. Environmental exposure, storage conditions, age, chemical reactions, and contact with certain materials can all affect the appearance of a copper-nickel coin. A brown appearance does not necessarily mean the coin is damaged, but it also does not automatically increase its value. Collectors generally focus on whether the color is natural and attractive, whether the surfaces remain original, and whether the coin has other desirable characteristics. If the brown appearance is actually environmental damage, corrosion, or chemical alteration, that can reduce desirability. This is why you should avoid assigning a dollar amount based purely on color. The word brown sounds exciting in a coin video, but professional numismatics is much more precise. Collectors want to know the grade. They want to know the mint. They want to know the variety. They want to know whether the coin is genuine. They want to know whether it has an error. They want to know the population at that grade. And they want to know what comparable coins have actually sold for. Now let's discuss another major factor: full steps. Jefferson nickel collectors often pay close attention to the steps of Monticello on the reverse. A sharply struck coin can show strong, uninterrupted steps, and full steps examples can command significant premiums when they are scarce. Next, coin number 3. This 1971. Jefferson nickel, without a mint mark, in very fine condition. Examine why the missing mint mark is important. Explain the famous 1971 No-S Proof error. Discuss the difference between a normal circulation coin and a genuine mint error, and explore what collectors should actually look for before believing an extraordinary price claim. And before we go any further, there is one extremely important point to understand. The phrase 1971 without mint mark can describe two very different situations. That coin is completely different. The 1971 No-S Proof was struck at San Francisco, but accidentally used a proof die that was missing the required S mint mark. PCGS explains that the error resulted from an incomplete die being shipped from Philadelphia to San Francisco. The United States Mint determined that approximately 1,655 examples were produced, making this one of the most important modern Jefferson nickel varieties. And this is where today's story becomes fascinating. If you have a 1971 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, you cannot simply look at the absence of the letter and declare that you have a rare coin. You first have to determine which 1971 nickel you actually have. Is it a normal Philadelphia business strike? Is it a proof? Is it the genuine No-S proof? Has the coin been altered? Is the mint mark simply difficult to see? Is the coin actually a different 1971 issue? Those questions matter enormously. The Jefferson nickel has one of the most recognizable designs in American coinage. The obverse features Thomas Jefferson facing left, while the reverse displays Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate. By 1971, the Jefferson nickel design had already been circulating for more than 3 decades. Felix Schlag's design had become a familiar part of everyday American life. They see the words "no mint mark" and immediately think rare. But the real question is, was a mint mark supposed to be there? If the answer is no, then the missing mint mark is not an error. If the answer is yes, then the missing mint mark may deserve investigation. And in 1971, the famous example where that missing mint mark really matters is the No-S Proof Jefferson nickel. Now, let's talk about the condition mentioned in today's video. Very fine. Very fine, commonly abbreviated VF, is a recognized circulated grade range. It means that the coin has experienced circulation but still retains a substantial amount of its original design detail. A very fine Jefferson nickel will normally show noticeable wear on the highest areas of Jefferson's portrait and on the reverse design. You may see wear across Jefferson's hair. You may see smoothing on the cheek and jaw. Some details in the lettering may show wear. On the reverse, Monticello will display circulation wear, and the steps may be incomplete or weak. This is very different from a proof coin in a high-proof grade. If you believe you have a 1971 nickel without a mint mark, the next step is identification. Start with the date. Make sure it actually says 1971. Then examine the area to the right of Jefferson's portrait where the mint mark would normally appear. If there is no S, don't immediately celebrate. Now examine the coin's overall appearance. Does it look like a proof? Are the fields unusually smooth and reflective? Are the design elements sharply struck? Does the coin have the visual characteristics expected of a proof? Does it look like something that came from a proof set rather than a coin that spent years circulating in someone's pocket? A genuine No-S proof should fit the characteristics of the recognized variety. PCGS specifically identifies the 1971 No-S as a major variety and explains that it resulted from an accidentally incomplete proof die. This is why the proof characteristics matter so much. A regular Philadelphia business strike can legitimately have no mint mark. A genuine No-S proof is a different story. Another major warning for coin hunters is post-mint damage. Imagine a 1971 nickel that originally had a D or S mint mark. After decades in circulation, someone scratches the mint mark. Perhaps the coin is polished. Maybe the surface is damaged. Maybe the area becomes discolored. Eventually, the mint mark becomes difficult or impossible to identify. A person might then look at the coin and say, "There's no mint mark. It must be rare." But that is not how professional numismatics works. A genuine mint error must originate from the minting process. Damage that occurs after the coin leaves the mint is not a mint error. This distinction is essential. If your coin appears suspicious around the mint mark location, do not attempt to repair it yourself. Don't scratch the surface. Don't polish it. Don't use chemicals. Don't try to recreate the missing letter. Leave the coin exactly as you found it. So the next time you see a 1971 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, don't immediately throw it back into your change jar. Take a closer look. Check the date. Study the mint mark area. Examine the surfaces. Look at the reverse. Inspect the steps of Monticello. Ask whether the coin looks like a business strike or a proof. And if something doesn't seem right, get it checked by a professional. Because sometimes the biggest discoveries begin with the smallest questions. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1971 Jefferson nickel, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more videos about rare American coins, Jefferson nickels, mint errors, valuable varieties, old pocket change, and hidden treasures. Remember, coin collecting isn't just about finding a coin, with a big price links, about learning the links, about understanding links, about recognizing genuine errors. And it's about verifying the evidence. So keep searching, keep learning, and always examine your coins carefully. Because somewhere out there, another fascinating Jefferson nickel may still be waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching, and happy coin hunting!